So parallelogram law of forces, we had derived the equation for a resultant. So the resultant was uh, represented by R, and it was p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. ये आपने क्लास 10th 11th 11 12 में भी पढ़ा होगा. There is nothing new in it. And phi is tan inverse p sin theta divided by q plus p cos theta. The thing that you have to keep in mind is uh, this is p, this is q, and this is theta. So if you need to remember these, otherwise what will happen? Uh, if this is, you are representing this by p and this by q, then here p and q will be reversed. So this was parallelogram law of forces. Now next what we had uh, started was a resolution of forces. So resolution of forces, you need to understand that we convert inclined force members into horizontal and vertical components on, that is on x and y axis. So we had taken a very small problem where, let us say this is f1, this is f2, this is f3, and let us say this is f4. So to resolve it, when the drawback associated with parallelogram law of forces is it is restricted to two members or two force systems only. Here you are having four forces. So to resolve it, first what you do is you convert this into a two force system. So let us say this is theta 1, let us say this is theta 2, let us say this is theta 3, and let us say this is theta 4. The angle made by the force with respect to the positive x-axis. So the sum of forces in x direction becomes equal to f1 cos theta 1 plus f2 cos theta 2 plus f3 cos theta 3 plus f4 cos theta 4. So similarly, if you find out fy, cos gets replaced by sine. So you have f1 sine theta 1 plus f2 sine theta 2 plus f3 sine theta 3 plus f4 sine theta 4. So these are the sums. Now this force system can be represented like this, where this is sigma fx and this is sigma fy. And the angle is 90 degree. So now the resultant becomes equal to under root fx square plus under root fy square. And phi, the angle made by the resultant with respect to the positive horizontal, is tan inverse sigma fy by fx. Okay, so this is your uh, method in which you are calculating the resultant. Now, if you look at this diagram, there are certain things that you need to keep in mind. Is first is theta is the angle measured with respect to the positive x-axis. Theta is the angle measured with respect to positive x-axis, and all the forces are outwards in nature. All the forces are outwards in nature. So if the forces are inwards in nature, then they get replaced by a negative sign here. Okay, so let us say that if you had another force which was acting like this would have been negative in nature. So सारे फोर्सेस सेंटर से बाहर जा रहे हैं, पहली चीज. और दूसरी चीज, थीटा इज मेजर्ड विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द पॉजिटिव एक्स एक्सिस. then only this equation is true. Okay. So if you see let us take another page. If mm, this is the representation of theta, let us say this is F1 and this is theta, then the horizontal component is taken as sine and the vertical component is taken as cos. So cos gets replaced by sine and subsequently you make changes, and the purpose is same, that you need to bring them into a two force system. So you have to remember two things, that the force is outwards in nature. If it is inwards, it is replaced by a negative sign. And theta is the angle measured with respect to the positive x-axis. Then only that equation is true. If you have other ways of mm, resolving, I don't mind. You can use any method, but until and unless the answers of both of us match. If the answers do not match, that means you are wrong. I am correct. Okay, so the answers have to match. Okay, so this is about resolution. Now, let us take another case where what is happening is, let us have the term resultant now. There are two terms, resultant and equilibriant. Okay, so resultant means a single force representing the force system. We have another term, equilibrium. Equilibrium means that a state where the effect where the effect of the combined force system is zero. It is a state where the effect of the combined force system is zero. So if the effect is zero, that means the resultant is zero. If the effect is zero, that clearly means that this is possible when the resultant is zero. Let us also explain equilibriant. Equilibriant says that a single force which when applied to the body which when applied to the body shall bring it into equilibrium. Okay, so equilibrium that we are saying here is mechanical equilibrium. In your thermodynamics, you must have learnt about thermodynamic equilibrium. Thermodynamic equilibrium is a summation of mechanical and thermal equilibrium. So thermal equilibrium means, even chemical equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium means there is no difference of temperature. Mechanical equilibrium means there are no unbalanced forces acting on the system, and chemical equilibrium means there is no chemical reaction being taking place in the system. So when a body is in a state of simultaneously in mechanical, thermal, and chemical equilibrium, it is said that the body is in thermodynamic equilibrium. So here, out of those three, only mechanical equilibrium is considered, where you say that under the influence of forces, the effect of all the forces taken together is zero. So this will happen only when the resultant is zero. Now, equilibriant means a single force which when applied to the body shall bring it into equilibrium. इसका मतलब एक ऐसा फोर्स जो कि हम बॉडी पे लगा दे तो बॉडी इक्विलिब्रियम में आ जाएगी. तो सीधी सीधी बात है, this force ये क्या होगा? दिस विल बी इनवर्स ऑफ रिजल्टेंट। रिजल्टेंट को ही उल्टा करके लगा दो तो इक्विलिब्रियंट हो जाएगा, दोनों एक साथ एक्ट करेंगे तो बॉडी इक्विलिब्रियम में हो जाएगी। ठीक। सो इक्विलिब्रियंट इज द inverse of resultant. Now, a state of equilibrium is achieved when the resultant is zero. Now, resultant is given by under root fx whole square plus under root fy whole square. Now, for resultant to be 0, fx has to be equal to 0 and fy also has to be equal to 0. Otherwise, the resultant will not be 0. ठीक है, प्लस माइनस होने से भी नहीं काम चलेगा क्योंकि होल स्क्वायर है। ठीक, तो एफ एक्स और एफ आई इंडिविजुअली हैव टू बी जीरो फॉर द रिजल्टेंट हैव टू बी जीरो। नाउ इफ यू लुक एट all the previous cases, it was a state of coplanar concurrent force system. The forces were passing through the same point. So for a coplanar concurrent force system, sigma fx and sigma fy have to be individually equal to 0 for the say state for the force system to be in mechanical equilibrium. So it is a very common question which is asked in your examinations, that what are the conditions of static equilibrium for coplanar concurrent force system? So for a coplanar concurrent force system, the equations of static equilibrium are sigma fx and sigma fy both have to be equal to 0. Now in this state, if both have to be equal to 0, then that means these are two equations which can be formed, and if these are two equations, we can find out to the maximum any two unknowns. Okay, so these are two equations, two unknowns can be found. So in the force system, if it is said that it is in equilibrium, that means you can determine any two unknowns depending upon whatever input values are there. You cannot determine any third unknown. Okay, so two equations, two unknowns. Now next is Lamy's theorem. Now Lamy's theorem states that for a force system in equilibrium acted upon by three forces, the ratio of magnitude of force and the sine of the angle between the other two forces is constant. So if you have a 3-4 system, let us say this is P, this is Q, this is R, and let us say this is theta 1, this is theta 2, and this is theta 3. So Lamy's theorem is applicable only when the system is in equilibrium. So if the system is in equilibrium, then what happens? You have P by, the statement says that the P by sine theta 1, the angle between the other two forces, Q and R, is equal to Q upon the angle between the other two forces P and R. This is sine theta 2, and R divided by sine theta 3. So where theta 1 plus theta 2 plus theta 3 will come out to be equal to 360 degree. So this is Lamy's theorem, and the important thing that you have to keep in mind is the system is in equilibrium. If the system is not in equilibrium, these laws are not valid. Okay. Now, come to the problem. The problem says that five forces of magnitude 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 Newton act along the annular sides of a regular hexagon. Find its resultant and inclination. So this is a regular hexagon. Obviously, it doesn't look so, but it is a regular hexagon. Now, annular sides means that this is your, let us say, origin. So this is your first force. This is your second annular point. This is your third annular point. This is your fourth annular point, and this is your fifth annular point. So the diagram is like that. This is first. The second one is like this. The third one is like this. The fourth one is like this, and this is the fifth one. So this is of 10 Newton. This is of 20. This is of 30. This is of 40, and this is of 50. You need to find out the resultant and its inclination. So your first job is to find out the angles first. So to find out the angles, you know that this angle, interior angle, is 120 degree. This is 120 degree. So how did you get this 120 degree? This is 2n minus 2 into 180 degree. So 2n, n is number of sides is 6. 6 into 2, 12. 12 minus 2 is 10. Sorry, into it is sorry, this is it is n minus 2 into 180 degree. Okay, so total sum is n is 6, 6 minus 2 is 4, 4 into 180 degree is 720 degree. So 720 degree is the sum of all interior angles. Now this has to be divided by number of sides n. So this comes out to be 120 degree is the interior angle. Now this has to be divided into how many parts? This is one part, this is the second part, this is the third part, and this is the fourth part. So if n is the number of sides of a polygon, then the interior angle can be found out by this formula, and it is divided by the number of angles. The number of angles will be how much? n minus 2. ठीक है, चार हिस्सों में बटेगा. तो अभी 120 था, चार हिस्सों में बचा, तो ये हो गया 30, ये भी हो गया 30, ये भी हो गया 30, और ये भी हो गया 30. So to find out the resultant, first we need to find out fx. Fx will be how much? 10 cos 0, because this makes an angle of 0 degree. Second one is 20 cos 30. Third one is 30 cos 60. Why 60? Because 60, this is the angle made with the horizontal. So you need to find out the angle has to be used which is made with the horizontal. Plus 40 cos 90 plus 50 cos 120. So this is fx. Now fy is again replace cos by sine. So this is 10 sine 0 plus 20 sine 30 plus 30 sine 60 plus 40 sine 90 plus 50 sine 120. So r you can find out, this will be equal to fx whole square plus fy whole square. So you will get the magnitude of r. So the magnitude of r will in all cases will be positive. Okay. Now this is one aspect. Next one is inclination. So if you talk about inclination, Let us say that phi inclination is given by tan inverse Fy by Fx. If you find out with the help of calculator, it will give you a value. If you find out with the help of calculator, it will give you a value between 0 to 90 degree. So that means your resultant will always lie in the first quadrant. This clearly means that your resultant will always lie in the first quadrant, because the value with the help of a calculator will be always some value between 0 to 90 degree. But this is not possible. So how it is done? If let us say the answer comes out to be 40 degree. Let us say that phi is 40 degree. So then you have four possible options. These are four possible options. Even this is 40 degree. This is 40 degree. It is made with the horizontal, so this is 40 degree. So you have four possible options. And out of these four possible options, only one is correct. So how do you decide which one is correct? So if both fx and fy are positive, if both are positive, this one is correct. If fy is negative and fx is positive, if fy is negative and fx is positive, then this lies in the fourth quadrant. If both are negative, it lies in the third quadrant. If fx is negative and fy is positive, it lies in the second quadrant. So depending upon the sign of fx and fy, because fx and fy individually can be equal to negative or positive, but it will give you a resultant which is always positive. But the inclination part you need to calculate using the signs of fx and fy. So then you will have a clear idea that out of these four options, which one is the correct, and you have to correctly represent it. So this is one type of problem that we come across.